Hey, Nelson, alcoholic addict. That's not my real name. I use a pen name here at my newsletter. I traveled to Virginia this week and I was driving in this small town and I got to this intersection and there was a red light and there was a sign that clearly said no turn on red. But I was kind of in a hurry and I looked in my rearview mirror and there was a truck right behind me and I thought, maybe this guy's going to be mad at me if I don't turn. He probably wants me to turn. I should probably turn. And, that's such silly calculus that you just pull out of thin air. I'm still a people pleaser, even when it involves random drivers that I've never met and I never will. So I turned right on red. Even though I had seen the sign, I knew it was illegal. And as I turned the corner, I noticed up ahead on this narrow street there was a guy who was about to get in his car and he had to wait because I was going to be driving past. And so he stood there and he was really giving me the stink eye. And as I drove past him, I noticed on his waist that he had a shiny little policeman badge on his waist. And he was not driving a squad car, but it was clearly an unmarked cop car. And I got that feeling, where you're like, oh no, am I gonna get pulled over? And I got butterflies in my stomach. And this dude was really glaring at me as I passed him, and then even when I got past him, he was just staring at me. And I saw him; he was like looking up and down the street and looking at his car, and it seemed like he was doing the math of like, is it worth it for me to jump in the car and chase this guy down and give him a ticket? And so I was like, oh no, am I gonna get a ticket? And I did not. I thought it was a coin flip whether he was going to go for it or not. He seemed very aggravated. And so I kept driving and I did not get pulled over. And it made me chuckle a little bit because I got away with one. And I'm sharing that here today because it reminded me, I mostly do follow the rules, especially when I'm fully on the spiritual beam of recovery. I follow the rules when I'm in that place. But if I miss a few meetings or I'm aggravated because of work and I don't catch up with people in recovery and I don't read any of our literature and I don't do anything spiritually fulfilling, it's remarkable how much I start to think, maybe some rules don't apply to me. Maybe I'm special. And it plays out all over the place. The roads, for sure, I routinely bend the road rules a little bit, whatever, it depends on what mood I'm in, If it's late at night and there's not many cars on the road and I want to rush, sometimes I think, maybe 65 miles per hour actually means 75 miles per hour for me. And or, maybe no turn on red actually means, hey man, you're in a hurry, look both ways, just go ahead, man, keep rolling. There's other areas too that where this stuff pops up where you start to drift a little bit. Like I've had a situation at a grocery store or two over the years where I'll go through and I'll realize that I should have been charged for something at the grocery store, and then in my head I'll think, you know what, they make a lot of money over here, don't they? I'm a good customer. Don't they owe me that iced tea they didn't charge me for? I've also had stuff like where I go to the office supply closet to get a notebook and I see a bunch of cool pens that I don't need, but my kids might love them. So I'll grab a few and chalk it up. Hey, it's one of the perks of the job, right? Take a few extra pens. No big deal. I've had a few things also with my kids where, the rules are that they get put in a specific class or on a sports team and they don't get in the class or on a sports team that they wanted, and I immediately think, what can I do to work an angle here and get what I want, what they want? And these things might sound harmless, and I guess, I guess they might be. Lobbying for your kid to be on a sports team with a friend of theirs or snagging a free pen or two, doesn't seem like a huge deal, right? But here's why it's a problem for me, just for me. I rarely have ever been able to stop my brain from talking me into other things too. It's a slippery slope. Sometimes I catch myself suddenly working against my own principles and I start to slide. I think that word slide is a really good word because I haven't had that moment where I'm just cruising along on a Monday and then Tuesday I wake up and I feel like I just start lying and stealing and drinking. it's a gradual erosion. I start to slide back into being the same guy who used to do all sorts of things that I just don't want to do anymore. I want to follow the rules. I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that has principles and sticks to them. So my close encounter with a $100 illegal turn fine really was a good nudge toward making sure my goal is to follow all appropriate rules that society deems necessary, not the ones, not just the ones that might make some random dude in a truck behind me happy, but is actually illegal. I don't want to live like that. So thanks for letting me share.